All right, so in this instructional video, I'll be showing you how to use Excel to do some skills or to do some processes for your assignment. This set of data that I've got in here are the data set for the hanging chain that's in your exemplar. And so I'm just going to use this example for you. So with this data here, I'm just centering it because it looks a bit nicer. With this data here, if I first of all select it, then I can actually graph it. So I select the X and Y set, the coordinates. I go to insert, and then I insert a chart. And the chart type I want is a scatter plot. So I'm just going to pull down on this one here that looks like dot, dot, dot. And it's just going to be a free scatter plot, just the points. No lines through it. That actually doesn't help us, and it's not even a best fit line. It's not actually a modeling line, so just the 3 points, and there I'm done. That's called G, not G, Y. We might want to give it a better title, so the title, which we need in all good graphs, might be raw data or chain. It's raw at the moment. So that's pretty cool because we can see what that is. Now if you have another series of data I'm just going to say that one plus 3. So what I'm doing here, I'm creating another Y set, and I'm only doing it to show you if we put 2 models on there, okay? So I'm just doing this third one here in this next column over. What I actually did in there is I typed in equals, and then I tapped on this cell D3 plus 3. So I've just got some slightly different numbers, 3 higher. So I'm just going to put that over here. If I want to add this series of fresh Y points to my data, I come over here to my graph, I right click on it, and let's try it a bit different. You've got to click in the right place in it. I'm going to right click and format data series. I could also do select data. So yeah, I'm going to do my data selection. So at the moment, I have a Y series here. If I edit it, I can see where it's coming from. So the series name is something random. It's getting it from cell B2, which is this Y. The X values for it come from, if I just click on this little Excel spreadsheet, it highlights it with this little slightly lit up thing here. So it highlights that there is my X values, and my Y values comes from the next door values. Okay, so that's just the series that's already there, that's existing. So I'll just hit OK to come back to this. And what we're going to do now is go add, and the X values, I'm going to take the same ones because I don't want to have double ups on that axis. It just looks really messy and unnecessary and very unmathematical. The axes are already there when we did the first one. And then I'm going to put this data in. And I'm only just showing you this technique in case you come along with a different model, a different set of Y points, and you want to add it to your Excel graph. And I put OK, and you can see behind the scenes there that it dropped it in. So if I blow up this graph, I'll be able to see a little bit better. Instead, I'm going to right click on it. Now that's it for just about for fitting, for creating a graph. If I want it bigger, at the moment, I'm just going to drag it around a little bit, just sort of try and make it a bit bigger. It's a bit stretchy. I thought I was trying to do that in the corner. Okay, the other thing I can do, I can right click on it, and I can ensure that it's actually inserted on a new page and it stretches it nicely. So if I go move chart, I'm going to put it in a new sheet, and then it should take up the sheet by itself. So see how it's a graphy page sheet, which is quite a bit more, maybe more useful. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click my mouse on the blue points, and let me go select data. I'm going to get rid of that new thing, remove the other series, the other model, so just have these clean blue points. Now, if I right click on there and say add trend line, this allows me now to put a modeling line. Now, at the moment, it's on linear here to the right, but I want a polynomial. And order 2, that's the power. So you can see straight away it's turned into a U shape, which is the best fit power. As I go down, there's some other options. I can set the intercept at 0, 0, like, so it'll fix it down there. Now, there are occasions, hint, hint, where you want that 0, 0 point. It's relevant and it's the deliberate start of your plot. But I don't, because it's just messing up my graph. I can possibly set other points. Now, most importantly, you need to click that you want the equation on the chart and the R squared, which is a measure of how closely every single point is to the modeled line. Now, the modeled line is just an equation of an x squared type at this stage. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go to my home key and go bigger, bigger, bigger font, so you can see the model. Okay, so that's y is 0.02 x squared. Now, so this is an expanded quadratic, so there's an x squared term, an x term, and a constant term. Not ideal, but let's work with that. So I'm going to copy that equation. I'm going to take it back over to where my data was, and I'm just going to put it somewhere where I can see it. This fitted points here, I'm just going to get rid of them. So what I'm going to do now with this, I'm going to create, I'm going to basically use these x points to say where this model thinks the y's should be, okay? So I'm going to call this y model. And inside my cell, I'm going to go up here to the formula bar for your sake and just go equals. And then I'm going to go I'm going to type in 0.0223. Now the x squared, I'm not going to put in x squared. I'm going to grab the x term, whoops, and square that. So it's 0.3 times. Now times is an asterisk that lives above your 8 key. So it's that value times that, which is my x, and then I need to square it, so it's that little v key too. That means squared. Okay, next part of the equation is here, minus 3.9779 times the x again. Why does this happen to me? I needed a times, okay, an asterisk, times that cell again. Cell C3's gone in there, and then the last term is plus 255.27, and then I hit enter when that's all done. And once I've created that equation with my modeled ideal y point, or where that model or equation tells me the y should be when I substitute in each x, I look at that formula. If I click back in the formula bar, it tells me where all the variables have come from. So it's just 0.023 times cell C3, it's blue, minus 3.9 blah blah times cell C3 again, and that's blue. Now if it was a different cell there, it would be a different color. So that's just a nice thing about Excel working nicely for us. Okay, so I'm going to hop in there. I'm going to go to the right hand corner. Let's make this a wee bit bigger for you. I'm going to click on the cell, go there until the white fat cross turns into a black cross, and drag it down. That's copy. That's a copy function, and you see there's different values there. So if I click in straight underneath it, I can see that it's a times C4 term. All right, so I can see that's exactly the same equation as the one upstairs, but it's used the relative address in row 4. So it's used the C4 and so on. That's because I dragged and copied it down, which is really nice because that means you don't have to do every single point by hand. So this is an efficient calculator that's on repeat here for us. So down we go. Okay, so that is, and in fact, my y points there. Why did I put them there? When down here on my chart, I can see where they are on the graph. I can see that most of the y points are, well, pretty missing this graph here. But some of them are in the same place. And if they happen to be lower from about x of 180 to 100, I can see that the model is not as high as the actual chain is. So if I just come down and have a look here, I said it was around 80A. The model is dipping down lower values, so the chain's actually higher. So you see here how it's 80, but the chain's 88. There's a difference of about 8 there. So the reason I put that there, I'm going to calculate the residuals. So I'm going to go difference, y model, and y actual. And then I'm going to sit on the cell here, not sit on it, but sit my tab key thing on it. And I'm going to go equals. Every equation starts with equals in Excel. Equals, it doesn't matter whether you go y fitted or y model. I'm just going to do this one less that one. Now I'm sitting under this. I think what I might do is say equals the modeled one, take away the actual, It doesn't really matter. That's giving me a negative difference. So I'm 14 clicks short. I'm 14 values short of what it should be, what the y is. So that's giving me a difference for every single little point. I'm going to copy that difference down. And some of the differences, remember in the middle of the graph around the 90, 80 point, they were pretty high, but actually the highest one there is at 0 to 70. So if we look at that, yeah, the modelled one is flattening down quite a lot lower than that, what they call the fixation point. Now, to them, that matters because that's where they were hanging their chain. So when they work on models, they want to make sure that they meet that point. So you need to think about with your graph, what are the points that you can't control in your hose? You know, it's coming out of a certain point and it's landing on a certain point. So if you wanted to use it to water your roses, you're going to make sure that your model is going to land up on your rose bed, not somewhere else. So those, what they call the fixation points, might be important for you. So let's move this out the way. Oh, not easy, so I'm not going to move it out the way. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change that formula a bit. I'm going to call it the absolute value of E3 minus D3. That's the equation you want. And that means that if you average those unders and overs, or the differences they are from your dots, so what we're actually doing here is we are looking at how big is the difference here. This is a big difference between where it should be and it's sitting under. Now for this particular model, we can see that our fitted line model, our squared polynomial model, is sitting higher here, but lower there. And if they were all in actual terms, so if this here is a positive difference because it sits higher and this section of the graph sits lower, these points will be minuses, and here it's sort of mixed bag. Then when you add those residual differences up, or those differences, they might cancel out because you've got negatives and positives. So we do absolute value so that we don't cancel out. Down at the bottom, we're going to go equals. Now they used sum of residuals, so I'm going to use a sum of the absolute residuals rather than a mean. And I close the bracket on my equation there, and when I hit enter, it's done my equation for me. So here I dragged through that range, so it's a sum of all those guys there. So that's the residual total of 191.5 that they also got. I think that's all I'll show you at this point here for Excel. Oh, I will show you a couple of other tricks. I will maybe copy this chart along. So I'm going to go move or copy. At the end, I'm just going to create a copy. Excel is really good and powerful if you use it properly. I'm going to go on this trend line, they call it, which is actually a regression line. And a regression line means a model of best fit, an equation that fits your real life data. So this is where the maths that we teach you comes into play. I'm going to maybe format that trend line. I actually want to, yeah, that'll do it. I said I wanted to edit it. So I'm going to change the order now to 3. Let's see what happens. So that's a cubic. I'm just going to do it. Hey, not too bad. It kind of fits it. Now there's a new model that's on there. Now whether that's better or not is up to you to grab the equation for it. Now the r squared is now 0.988. When it was a 2, it was sort of the same. It's kind of fitting under and over the same. So on average, the overall regression fit is nearly 100%. And by going to a 3, yeah, it's still a good model with the unders and overs, I guess. Let's go to a 4 with a new equation. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. So there's your quartic right there, people. So you can almost do all your work on this on Excel, but combined with Desmos is actually a lot more powerful. And I'm also going to show you some other wee tricks and some mathematical tricks so that you can make sure that your grade is the highest that you want to achieve for it.